Alright, hi guys, my name's Kiara and I'm going to be talking about my first year at Art Center as an animation student. So I know that animation is pretty new here, so there's not a whole lot of information, so I hope this video helps. So at Art Center, the first 3 terms, so a term is like a semester, and there's basically 3 terms a year, and each term is 14 weeks with about a month break between. So your first 3 terms, the schedule is pretty much set. You can't really change your classes for the most part. You can try maybe to switch it out with a different one that you're more interested in, but otherwise it's pretty much set. And it's a pretty good mix of different subjects. So I'll post a photo that you can pause of all the classes that are for, the whole schedule for like all the years. And you can just take a look through. And so it's a good mix. So you have CG and 2D, you got your anatomy, your figure drawing, concept art, and there's also visual communications. And this Viscom class is something that not many other colleges have because Art Center the concept track is a really big part of the school. So the Viscom is kind of like from the concept. And basically it's focused on perspective and draftmanship. And Viscom is all paper and pen and limited use of the ruler, and you basically learn how to do perspective and cars on paper with pen. And that was honestly the hardest class. It's tough, but it's good. You learn a lot from it. So that's kind of your first term classes. In the second term, it's pretty much the same, but instead of Viscom, you got story. So those are the 2 terms that I've been through. I'm going to be entering the 3rd term in the fall. And so after you have these first 3 terms are pretty much set, and after that you can specialize in what you want to do, whether it's 2D or CG or whatever. And there's also a mentorship program where I think for one of the terms, instead of a class, you can get a mentor of your choice, of what's available. And then the mentor would be like a professional working in the industry and the career that you want, and then they personally will critique your work and work with you throughout the term as a class. But that's something in the later terms, but that's something that you might be interested in doing. So yeah, that's kind of the classes. All the teachers are working professionals. They're still they're still working basically. And I've had teachers that worked in Disney, DreamWorks, the whole shebang. And yeah, they're pretty good at what they do. Yeah, and in term 3, because I know a lot of people are doing storyboards, term 3 is about the time you do storyboards. You do a little bit. You do make like a short animatic in term 2, but that class is more focused on story writing and script. Well, not really script, but like it's just story outlining, I guess, and then a small animatic at the end. So it's not very focused on it. But after term 3, you do focus more on storyboards. There's shorts prep, which is storyboards. So another thing to keep in mind is that animation mostly runs during the spring and fall terms. There's not a whole lot of summer classes for animation. You could still take the summer term. You can take your academic classes, get out of the way, or take different studio classes from other majors. Art Center is a pretty big school, so you can try out classes from different majors, but it is a little more difficult if it's not the major you're in. So keep that in mind. I just took it off. I think a lot of the reason why it's off is because a lot of students do internships at this time, but of course as a freshman, most studios aren't looking for interns until you've had at least 2 years of school under your belt. So yeah, that's that. I've been enjoying my time at Art Center. I think it's pretty good. Of course, you do need to know your time management. The classes, most of the studio classes are about 5 hours long, and that might seem pretty intimidating, but you do get used to it. The first term's always the hardest. because it does take a while to adjust. The academic classes are shorter. They're about 3 hours, and they last 2 weeks less. They're 12 weeks instead of 14 weeks, so you can focus on your studio finals more, which is nice. And don't worry, there's plenty of breaks in classes, and you can also just leave whenever you want to get food or whatever. The cafeteria food, a little expensive. But at least there's a cafeteria, and there's also, a supply store in all the campuses. There's a Hillside campus, and there's a South campus, and the South campus comprises I don't know what that word is. It has 3 buildings, essentially, but they're all next to each other. As an animation student, you're mostly going to be in Hillside, and maybe have an academic or 2 in the figure drawing at South campus. And there's a shuttle that runs between the 2, so it's not really that much of a problem. Art Center also has intern shows where every spring you can show your work, and they hire companies. I participated in this previous spring. However, it's still more focused on the older students, and it's still more concept focused than video game design focused. But they are set on trying to invite more and more animation companies as the program grows and as, more intern shows. Art Center also does invite lots of artists to do talks and workshops. Most of them are free, which is really cool. I got to meet one of my favorite artists, Simon Stallenhag, as he did like a Q&A, and that was pretty cool. And they have it all the time. They also have free workshops to learn programs like Photoshop and such, and a whole bunch of stuff, mostly in the beginning of the term, because after that people get pretty busy. Parties, whatever. There's a lot of events going on. They also have dog therapy during midterms and finals. Midterms, yeah. Once midterms and finals get here, it gets pretty busy. But, the computer labs are always open, so you can always come and work. The campus is 24/7, so you could just go and work how much you need, but please get your sleep. Don't pull all-nighters if you can help it. I managed without going through all-nighters, although some of my friends have not. It's mostly just time management and also prioritization. So don't put full effort in all of your classes if you want to, keep your mental health in check, because otherwise you're going to go crazy. You want to prioritize the classes that you like, or the ones that will really help you in the development that the career that you want to pursue. So I really enjoyed CG and concept personally, so those are the classes I put a little bit more effort in. And then the other ones that don't matter as much, especially the academics, you can just do the bare minimum. I know not everyone, can do that. A lot of people I know are perfectionists for everything, and then they don't get any sleep, and you can't really focus in class, you can't really do your work well, so it's not really worth it. So I'd say prioritize what you want to do and get your sleep, and make sure to eat healthy. So one last thing is location. I know location isn't a lot of people talk about, but it's something to keep in mind. Pasadena is a nice area. The weather is pretty nice most of the time, a little hot in the summer. It gets cooler at night. It's a good area. There's lots of stores. There's parks. But it is expensive. But there's lots of, students here so that you could room with, because Art Center does not have any dorms at the moment. I think they're planning to open it in a couple years, but who knows? So you keep that in mind. For me personally, Art Center was also the most financially better, because I got a good scholarship, and it was just the cheapest out of all my options, honestly. And I also just really liked it. I really liked the more kind of concept focused. It's not really concept focused, but because of the concept major, they have really good concept teachers, and I like that. And they focus on story and not just technical stuff. But yeah, just so you guys know, if you do get a scholarship award and you feel like it's not enough, you can always do an appeal letter. So before you accept it, you email the school and you tell them about, like what you are in financially. So like for me personally, I was just with my mom and she was also going through her master's, so she wasn't working, so whatever. We got extra money, like a couple more thousand for my financial letter. And that really, that helped. So yeah, write that appeal letter, get more money, and then you could accept it and, go to college. And yay! I don't know what to say, man. Um, but yeah. Oh, one last thing is the student films here aren't individual like CalArts or whatever. The student films here are more like a class group project. I'm not sure if it's like a group project or a class project, but it's not independent, and because it's a lot of work making your own short. They tried that with the first ever animation class, and the students just got really stressed out and busy. So consider that as well. So I'm sure that I'm probably might be forgetting stuff. So if I do, I will be posting anything else in the description below. You could also ask me any questions in the comments or email me. Another thing is, I am totally open to critiquing your portfolio. So if you're a student and you want your portfolio to be critiqued or looked over, you can DM or email me and I'll be happy to look over it. Just please do it before September 7th, because once school starts, I won't be able to have the time to do that. So the sooner the better. But I'll always try to be there to be able to answer any questions that you might have. I do know a little bit of knowledge of the other animation schools, and I can help compare it with you to see what might be a better fit. Although just know that what I know from other schools is just purely from what I've heard from others and not really from my personal experience. So take that with a grain of salt. So yeah. Overall, I really like Art Center. I think it's a good fit for me personally, because I like doing a little bit of everything. But yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of work. Second term, I barely had any time for myself, but I still try to draw for myself. And that's important. When you have school, it even though it's really busy, you still want to do time to do personal work, because otherwise you're just going to get all art just drained out of you. You want to at least doodle, even if it's just for like a minute or two. Sometimes when I'm like waiting, I'll take out my planner and I'll doodle a little bit, and that will already make me feel a lot better. So remember to create for yourself, and also hang out with friends, because especially as an animator where you're creating stories, it's harder to create stories if you haven't actually lived life. You can't write life without living it. So definitely try to make friends and hang out and do have some semblance of a social life, because it helps, having friends and being able to hang out and just having a time to just, not work. And even if people are going to be saying, I know there's people who say, oh, if you're not working 24/7, you're worthless, whatever. That's complete bull. Like, you gotta spend time for yourself. You always have to prioritize your health over your classwork. You can always talk to teachers if there's something going on, and most of the time they'll be very understanding. So yeah, as in your grades, if it's a B, A, who cares? As long as you keep up your GPA for your scholarship. As long as you put your mind to it, manage your time well, and keep yourself healthy, you'll be good. Just watch yourself. And if you find that you're slipping or becoming mentally, not great, always talk to someone that you trust or see a therapist, and make sure to just take care of yourself. So yeah, that's it. Goodbye. I hope this helped.